PVA tape, that is one of my angling essentials. I never go anywhere without this. It's got so many different uses and gets you out of trouble in a lot of different ways. First of all, the common old stringer. Tie it slightly different to how you might have seen. It's a 3-bait stringer and it's kind of a circular formation. So I'll show you how I do that first of all. This is 10mm wide PVA tape. So I pull off a decent length of that. Take your 3 baits and put them onto a stringer needle. Put the PVA tape in the clasp of the needle and slide the baits down onto it. Very strong, this PVA. You can just slide them on like so. Lovely. Okay, so there you go, 3 baits on the tape like that. Push them up together for this type of stringer, like so. And then I've got a rig ready to go here, which is a 20mm bottom bait, size 8 wide gape, and some hybrid material. I'm going to tie the stringer around the hook link, and I'll show you why in just a moment. If I just lay this down here so it's easier to tie, we're going to pull the stringer in a tight circle. So hopefully you can see that. So the hook link is running through the centre of that triangle of baits that I've got there. So I'm just going to tie this off. Like so. I'll show you how it looks. Okay. Now the finished stringer, as you can see, that was very quick and easy to make. Your hook bait and your hook link runs through the centre of the stringer. So very, very nice little setup this, because what it does is it masks the hook. So you pull the hook like so into the centre of the stringer, and it means that your hook can't get masked on any weed or anything. So really, really nice little presentation. Casts reasonably well, and because the bait, the stringer is actually tied under compression, as you can see, these small bits of PVA are nicely exposed so they'll melt, but because the stringer is tied tight, when it melts it will break apart and the baits will become spread nicely around the hook bait. So that's the circular stringer. That's one that I use quite a lot and have used for a lot of years. Nice little presentation, that. Okay, another really good use for this PVA tape is to mask the point of your hook, particularly for weed fishing, which a lot of us are coping with now. Many waters are very weedy. This means that when the PVA dissolves, it's leaving your hook point sharp and primed and ready to go into the mouth of the fish when it picks up the bait. I'll show you how you do this, and it means that you can fish with a lot more confidence that your rig is perfectly presented. Okay, so take your PVA tape, just hook it over the point of the hook, and then we're just going to wrap it around the gape of the hook so that it can't get caught on anything. Just 2 or 3 times, like so. And then if you just lick the PVA, and it will just obviously stick to itself, and you can trim it off. And there you have a completely protected, completely masked hook. That will obviously dissolve completely away. This tape leaves no residue. You're not going to have blobs masking your hook point. You don't need to worry about that. You'll just be left with a perfect presentation on the bottom, fishing weed with confidence. One last use for this piece of PVA tape, and this is another little corker. When you're hooking on little bags of pellet or ground bait, quite often the hair can flip around and tangle around the shank of the hook. I'll show you a way now that completely secures it, means that you can cast with confidence. Okay, what we'll do is we'll take a PVA mesh bag of pellet here, hook it on in the normal fashion, and just nick it through the top there. Now that's something you see people do day in, day out on lakes all around the country. All very well and good. I mean, actually I've got a piece of silicone there which is actually helping to reduce the tangle, but it can still flip round, and if you haven't got that silicone on, I'll just show you, if you've got the hair coming off there, which is perhaps a bit more conventional, then you'll get this problem all the time. Not great. So what I like to do is take a piece of PVA tape and tie the hair tight to the bottom of the hook and the bag. So I'll just tie this on. And what I've done is I've just done a simple overhand knot that goes around the bottom of the hook and the hair, keeping everything tight, no tangles. Trim that down, which I'll do now. Two overhand knots is more than enough. So there you have an untangleable hair. Cast that anywhere with a hooked on bag and you'll have no problems whatsoever. Now I've got another use for PVA tape, but unlike the actual film tape which I've been using, this one uses a woven tape. Similar, it's kind of like PVA mesh, but it's a lot stronger. And we need something a little bit stronger and a little bit stretchier, because what I'm going to do now is tie the lead off so that it can't come off. Now, we all like to use lead clip systems. We'll just, particularly if you've got a big lead on, if you're trying to go for a bit of distance, I mean this is a 4 ounce swivel distance, we'll put that on there, moisten that up. Now, what you've got here is a very common arrangement, lead on a clip and a bag of pellets. Now, the problem, as some of you might have found, is if you don't stop your cast or feather it perfectly, the impact will slow the descent of the lead quite radically. Now, basically, the lead will go into the surface of the water at some speed. It's braked by the hook link and the resistance of this bag, which means that your lead will come off almost every time. Now, the way to get around that isn't by pushing the rubber on as far as you can get it. You see people doing that. That's not good angling. That will be very unsafe, difficult for the fish to get rid of. So instead, push the rubber on as we would normally have it, but use this woven tape to tie it off and make it completely secure. I'll do that now. There you've got a lead clip which will not discharge the lead. Obviously, once the PVA melt, it becomes completely safe, so after a minute and a half in summer water temperatures, that'll be completely gone and you've got a fully functional, fully safe lead system. More importantly, when you're casting little bags like this, you're not going to be dropping the lead every cast if you're not feathering it down. So there's a few little edges and touches using two kinds of PVA tape. Always carry it, invaluable.